Hello friends, welcome to Code Crush Coding. In this video we are going to learn about how to find the maximum and minimum element in the list. So we are going to have a list, and from that list we are going to identify which is the maximum element or which is the minimum element present in the list. So let's first declare a list. We will hard code the values of list. So let's say name of list is my list. So in this list I will have the integer elements, let's say numbers. So let's add the number here. So let's say 10 2 1 0. So this is my list with 4 elements, and I will print that list. So print my list. Once I get the list, what I want to do, I want to print which is the maximum element present in this list. So to identify that, we have one predefined function like the built-in functions in Python. So the name of the function is max. So I will print that function here, print max. So see here you are getting the suggestion for the max function. So I will select the max function, and inside this max function I need to pass the argument. What is the argument or parameter that we need to pass here? We will pass this list. So here we will pass that list. So what this max function will do, whatever value we pass here from that sequence, so in this case it is the list sequence, it will identify which is the max element present in that. So let me save this code and run now. So let's see what output we are getting. So the first statement was to print the my list. So that is the list we have hard coded here. So we are getting that particular list. Second statement is max. So what is the maximum value available in this list, which is 10. So we are getting here 10. So we are not writing any logic here, we are just calling this function max, and Python is internally executing the code for this max function as it is a built-in function. In similar ways we will have the function for the element for the minimum value. So we will now print the minimum element. So min is the function. In the same way it will take the argument, which is the sequence name, which is my list. What will be the output for this case? It should print 0 because 0 is the minimum element present in this list. So let's save this and run now. See, we are getting here 0. Now what we will do, we will add some more elements here. Let's say I added here 100, and then let's say minus 5. These are the elements I have added here. Let's save this and run now. So see, we are getting the updated list here, and what is the maximum element in the list now? It is 100. So we are getting here 100. And what is the minimum here? It is not 0 now because we have a negative number here, minus 5. So we are getting minimum number as minus 5. So this was the case with the integer values. Now what we will do, we will have now string values. So we know how to save the string values. We need to pass them inside these inverted commas, right? So let's have a values here. Let's say some variables, random variables. Let's say ABC, then let's say PQR, then XYZ. So this is my list now. So on what basis the maximum element and minimum element will be identified in this sequence? So by alphabetical order. So in the sequence A to Z, which element will come first will be considered as the minimum element, and which element will be after that particular element will be considered as max element. So let me run this code, then I will show you how it's behaving. So see, this is our list ABC, PQR and XYZ. So in this case, what is the maximum element, which is X, because X is coming like in the alphabetical sequence afterwards. So X will, this element will be identified as the maximum, and this will be the minimum because it is starting from A. What if I introduce another element here which will again start from A, and let's say AZ is the value. Now it is also starting with A, it is also starting with A. Now let's see the output here. Still it is considering ABC. Why it is considering ABC? Because first time when they will compare, for both these elements starting point is A, after that it is B, here it is Z, so Z is like bigger than B, so that's why minimum element here is ABC. What again we can do here, we can introduce here B only. Here we have C, here we will have A, ABA. Now what will be the minimum element? Now the minimum element should be ABA, right? Let's run this code. See, now we are getting here ABA because first two elements are same here, AB and AB, but the third element in the index 0 position we have C, and at the last we have A, so A is minimum, so that's why the minimum value is ABA. Now what if I introduce numbers here? Like this list have alphabet like the string values as well as the numbers. So if I introduce here numbers, let's say 1 and 10, and now what will be the minimum and maximum value here? Let's save this code and run now. So here we are getting some exceptions or error. So the print statement is executed successfully, means list can contain these values like both the string values as well as the numeric values, but the issue is with this max and minimum function. What the issue says, it says type error, not supported between instances of int means integer and str which is string. So it is not supported, means these two functions max and min are not supported for the instances of int and string both. It can work separately for integer as well as string, but it cannot work combined for both integer and string. So what we can do, like let's say if I make them the strings, if I make these numbers as string, if I pass them inside these inverted commas, then they will be considered as string. So let me save this and run now. So see, now there are no errors and we are printing the list here, that is the list we are hard coded, and here we are getting the maximum. So what is the maximum here? Maximum is XYZ because the element X is larger than any other element present here. After that we are getting 1. Minimum value is 1 because the integer values is considered smallest in the string type, means it is not considering A as the smallest, now it is considering 1 as the smallest. So in this way you need to remember, if you have the numbers in the form of a string in the list, then the minimum value will be of the numbers only, like the minimum number available in your list, and the maximum value will always be of the string type. If I introduce here another number, let's say -2, but I need to make it a string, so it will be considered a string. See, we are getting here error because it is not taking -2 as the string value. Let me try again, -2. Yeah, if I save this code and run now, so see, we are getting a -2. So the minimum value will always be the number which is passed as a string, and the maximum value will always be the string type according to the alphabetical order. So that was all about the max and min elements. One more thing we can do here, instead of passing this value hard coded, we can get these values from the user. So let's write a code for that. Let me remove all this. Let's say we have an empty list first, my list equal to, so this is my empty list. Now what I will do, I will ask the user to have the size for the list. So let's take one variable size and let's pass a message here input, and which will be of the type integer, and we will pass here message, say enter size of list. So here we will get the size of list. So once we get the size of list, we will need to have a for loop here for I in range to accept the elements in the list. So what will be the range? Range will be of size, whatever the value user has entered, for that much iterations we need the values. So we will pass here size, and inside this we need to append the element in the list. So we have already a empty list, my list dot append, and what we need to append in this, we need to pass a message here input, and here we will say enter element. So every time in this iteration we will get this message enter element, and we will enter the elements till whatever size is mentioned. So in this way we will get our list, and then we will print entered list is, and then my list. Let's save this and run now. So enter size of list, let's say enter here 2, enter element 1, enter element 2. So see, we are getting here 2 elements, right? Entered element is 1 and 2. Now what we will do, we need to have the provision for the functions like max and min element. So we will print here the menu for the user, print operation to perform, and we will say here 1 for max, and let's say 2 for min. So user need to perform 1 or 2. If he presses if he enters 1, then we will print the maximum element. If the user enters 2, then we will print the min element. And now here we'll have the if else statement. If, before using if else, we need to accept this value, means to whatever the value user has entered. So we will have one variable here, choice, and here int input, here will say enter choice. So once we get the choice here, then we will have the conditional statement if choice equals to 1. If it is 1, then we need to perform the max operation, right? So here we will have the function call for the max, and we will pass here my list, and we will print this, we will print here message as well. Let's print the message also. Maximum element is maximum element is, and then we will have the max of, and another choice will be else. If choice equals to 1, then we will have the maximum element. If choice is equals to 2, then it will go into else condition, and then we will have the minimum call for the maximum. Here we will have minimum, and here we will say min. Now let's run this code. Enter size of list, let's say 5, enter element 94, 87, 1, 2. So the entered list is 94, 87, 1 and 2. So operation to perform max and min. So enter choice, let's say I want the max, so I will press here 1. So maximum element is 90. In the similar fashion, if I want the minimum element, enter size of list, let's say 3, enter element 2, 5, 1. So this is the entered list 2, 5, 1, and in this choice I will enter 2 for the minimum element. So we are getting here the minimum element. Let me correct the spelling here. Minimum element, operation to perform. And what if user enters some another choice here? Instead of 1 and 2, user enters some different choice. Let me show that case as well here. Enter list, let's say 2, 1, 2. Let's say I enter here 5. So what will happen in this case? So still it is going in minimum element, because we have entered here if choice is equal to 1, then only maximum. For all other choices it will be minimum. So we need to correct this. We can use here elif statement, if elif, and here we will use the else statement, elif choice equals to 2, then we will have minimum element. Otherwise for all other conditions we will print here message, print please enter valid choice, let's say valid choice. Let's save this and run now. So enter size of list, let's say 3, enter element 1 2 3. So we are getting here list, and now operation to perform max and min, and in this case I enter here 5. So we are getting the correct message here, please enter valid choice. I have entered here wrong spelling, but you can correct that. And also you can make another enhancement in this program. So the basic thing that we wanted to cover is the behavior, or the how the max and min element to identify in the list. So that's it in this video. We will cover another topics in next video. Thank you for watching.